Hey, RetconRaider here, with special thanks to the Raiders, the fine folks who help make these videos possible, including but not limited to Dragon Matrix 7, Mathew Smith, Revenant, Alois, Drakiith, Erie V23, Egg, EgonAlter, Emile, Exsellsior, Gottlieb, James Trimmier, Kazorm, Nathan Welch Jr., OverlordPherom, RandomPassrby, RobbyB, Tomasz Piątkowski, Triphoppenskip, and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, let's get started. And welcome back to Scarlet Hollow, as our search for Stella continues. Thus far, we've visited her house, and we visited the library. Obviously, we're still standing outside of it. And while we have found some interesting information, I'm not sure we've really found much in the way of solid clues, aside from signs that she had been to her house after our misadventures last night. She had made herself a sandwich, grabbed her jacket, but not done much else from what we could tell. That said, we've still got a fair few locations to choose from here, and I am still operating under the assumption that we'll only be able to visit a finite amount of them. Not sure how many, but I have tiered a list of what order I'd like to hit the remaining locations in, and we'll just start working our way down that list until the game stops us. So next up, we are hitting the mines, yes. Because if anyone might have insight into Stella's character, it might be Tabby. They used to be friends. She might even be there, though I sincerely doubt they would make it that easy. Let's try the mines. I guess there's a decent chance Stella went to find your cousin. I can't say I get it, but it's definitely something she would do. You don't see it? Aw, come on. The two of them have such a dynamic, you know? Classic dog and cat situation. Come on, I'll drive us. You follow Kanika to her van. It isn't long before you find yourself outside the Scarlet Mines. A wall of bodies, picket signs, and megaphones in hand forms a human barricade around the entrance to the Scarlet Mines. That might complicate things. I am unhappy with the treatment I am receiving as a worker at the Scarlet Mine. Better hours now, or none at all. Scarlet, more like toilet. I feel like your signs could use a bit of work here. Is this a strike? They're striking? Some miners were talking about it in the diner yesterday, and it looks like they managed to convince almost everybody to join up. The collapse must have been a breaking point for a lot of people. Yeah, I wouldn't want to go back underground the day after a mine collapse either. I'm not stepping foot in a mine ever again. It's time Tabitha stopped taking her workforce for granted. I hope it's not weird to talk to them while they're in the middle of all this. Don't worry, I know these guys. Most of them are in the diner at least a couple days a week. They'll be chill. Will they be chill talking to Tabitha's cousin, though? Well, if it isn't the boss's cousin. That's me? Okay, so obviously we want to make a good impression on these guys. At least as much as possible. I think we'll avoid the ghost talk. Hail and well met, fellow countrymen. What goes on here? The miners stare at you. A strike? Yeah, I got that, thanks. What be your grievances? We'd like competitive pay, 8-hour shifts instead of 12 or more, improvements to the sick day and vacation policies, and a thorough safety inspection before any of us step foot underground again. That collapse is way too close to the active mine for me to feel safe down there until I know for sure I won't wind up buried under 2 tons of rock. This place is supported by the labor of folks who are too desperate for work to care about the conditions they work under. It runs them ragged, then spits them out when they're too broken to keep going. I've seen it time and time again. We're going to change things. There's no reason we should be treated like we're a disposable workforce. If we're the ones making her money, we should be making money too, not just scraping by. That's a lot of grievances. Working here seems tough. Yeah. Do you think Tabitha can even make those changes without the mine going under? I'm sure she can figure it out. I'm not saying she's not a bad boss. People clearly aren't happy with her, but coal's getting used less and less, and I've seen that old Scarlet house. It's practically condemned. If she has money to spare, where's it going? I really didn't peg you as someone who'd go to bat for Tabitha. I'm not. I'm just trying to get the full picture here. And if the mine fails, I don't see how Aunt Winnie's diner doesn't fail with it. Okay, but that's the whole problem. A single family shouldn't be able to hold an entire town hostage. The workers need a say in the business. Fair enough. I mean, I feel like it's not really that simple, but more data required. Oh boy, we need to be careful here, but at the same time we have to remember that a lot of these choices do come back to haunt us later. That's it? Look, I just need to talk to my cousin. I'd be happy to pass along your demands. I'm not sure we should be involving the boss's cousin in any negotiations. Yeah, it's a bad look. If you want to try and push her to the table, that's one thing. But you should leave the demands to us. Fair enough, then I will just go talk to my cousin. Darn, you got me. Why are the cops here? Miss Scarlet requested we supervise the situation. The mine's the source of a lot of jobs in town, and she just wanted to make sure nobody did anything hasty while expressing their concerns. That's a polite way of saying that they're here to intimidate us. A little reminder from the boss that she owns more than just the coal mines. Dude, you're like a jacked 20-something 6-foot-tall miner. He's a 4-foot-tall side character from a 60s sitcom. Pretty sure one of you is a lot more intimidating than the other. I wonder where Franklin got off to. Simmer down. Nobody's here to intimidate anyone. But the Scarlet mines are private property. Miss Scarlet has every right to request some oversight during a tense situation. There's a lot more of us than there are of you. Yep, and there's that intimidation we were talking about. I don't suppose any of you folks have seen Stella? She's gone missing? The YouTuber? She's the one on all the banned from property posters, right? We haven't seen her. And we've been out here all day, so we'd know if she'd come by. We'll make sure to keep an eye out. Can't say we'll be much help, though. We'll just be standing around here for the foreseeable future. Yeah, that's fair. Alright, if you don't mind, could I go have a word with my cousin? Sure. You may be the boss's cousin, but you seem harmless enough. Go ahead. I don't care if they're okay with you going in. I'm still not crossing a picket line. Besides, I don't think Tabitha would be too happy to see me. I'll just wait by the van while you go talk to her. Same. Everyone who works here is a regular at the diner. I don't want to make things weird. See you on the other side. Gosh, thanks guys. And once again, it falls to me. It's quiet today. Empty beyond the ruckus at the front gate. The trailer that serves as Tabitha's office looms above you on the hill. You walk up to Tabitha's trailer and knock on the door. You wait for a moment. No response. Okay, we tried to announce ourselves. Let's head in, just in case there's something wrong. You open the door. I think I can turn at least a few of the guys, and if you fire Davis... Oh, hi. Oh my god, have you heard of knocking? What are you even doing up here? Should I go? Yeah, and make sure no one sees you. No one else, at least. Rodriguez pauses before he leaves. Whoa, whoa, whoa! What happened to you? It's a Halloween costume. Huh, really? Could have fooled me. Halloween's not till Monday, and that is some high-quality makeup work. It's a Halloween costume. Don't make me repeat myself. Nah, she's just joshing. I got cursed by a ghost last night. Retcon's just getting into character. Ignore him. I already said you're dismissed, Rodriguez. I'll handle my cousin. The door clicks closed as Rodriguez leaves Tabitha's office. Tabitha heaves a heavy sigh. Please, just forget anything you heard, okay? You sure? Because from what I heard, it sounds like you're about to make things worse. Davis seems like a nice guy. People like him. If you fire him... Right, yeah. You'll just end up making him a martyr. That'll make the strike even stronger. You might be right. That's my main concern, too. He's also a good employee. There's a reason he's so well liked. People listen to him. They trust him. I'll be careful about this. I'm not going to do anything hasty. I can wait to see where this goes. We're not going to take sides on this. It's not really our business, and, it's complicated. Both sides have legitimate grievances. Don't worry, I'm not going to undermine you. We're good. Thanks. I know I haven't given you many reasons to be kind to me, so I really appreciate you choosing to be that way, even if I'm not very easy to get along with. Look, you didn't come here to talk about my meeting. Why are you here? Don't get me wrong, it's nice to see a friendly face, but you shouldn't be up here. This is my battle to fight. Yeah, just, Stella's still missing. We're looking all over town, but we can't find her. Tabitha groans with anxiety. You don't think... Wayne... I think we can at least rule that out for now. We did go to her house. There weren't any signs of a struggle or anything. No signs that Wayne had been there. How do we even know she went home last night? She ran off in the opposite direction. She did. Seems like she at least went home to grab her jacket. Stella's been known to disappear for days while she's doing her videos, but I think we both know that's not what's going on. I'll see if I can figure something out. Alright. Thanks. You have time to maybe hang out later? I feel like it might be good for both of us. You do? You're not joking. There's so much on my plate right now. But I'll see you tonight. Maybe we can have some ice cream or something. If you want to spend time together, I mean. Tabitha's phone buzzes. I'd better get back to work. Stay safe out there, Retcon. Call me if you run into more trouble. But please don't go looking for any today, okay? I don't need you going missing, too. You leave the office, closing the door behind you. You find Kanika and Avery waiting for you outside. You don't look like you found any new leads. You look back at the striking miners. Oh, no. No, while Rodriguez is definitely up to no good, I don't think there's anything good that would come from revealing it now. That would just galvanize them further against Tabby, since they would conflate Rodriguez's scheme with Tabitha's actions. Yeah, Tabby's not leaning towards taking Rodriguez's advice anyway. So hopefully it won't become an issue. You don't need to go around spilling Tabitha's secrets. It feels like we've done our due diligence here. Come on, I'll drive us back to town, and we can figure out our next move from there. Okay, where to next? Before you can suggest your next move, you start to feel woozy. Spots form at the edges of your vision. Your legs suddenly feel unstable, your body sending you clear signals of exhaustion. And then it passes. Still, it probably won't be long before your body needs a chance to rest. You should plan your next move wisely. And there it is. There's our cutoff point. We get one more. But we've still got 3 locations on our list. Which means, I guess we're headed to the church. We'll have to skip the diner, which is probably just more protesters, and the police station, which I'm guessing where Deputy Franklin's hanging out. He's pretty much useless anyway. That aside, the church is important because we need to talk to Pastor Daniels about his thing. We did say that we would follow up with him on it. Though, that said, I don't think we're going to find anything about Stella there. Let's swing by the church. The church? Why? I see what you're thinking. Stella was confronted with evidence of the afterlife, so she might try getting into all that religious stuff. It's worth checking out. I think we'd be barking up the wrong tree, but I guess you're right. There's no point in not being thorough. I wouldn't mind stocking up on some holy water while we're there, too. Seems like a good idea to cover all our bases at this point. Yeah, I don't think Baptists do the holy water thing. But I'm sure Pastor Daniel will pretend to bless some water if it means keeping us around a little longer. That's good enough for me. Let's not linger, though. I don't want him thinking we're possible converts. Kanika leads the way, taking you up the gradual slope towards the church. You know, I've lived here for a few years now, and I've never actually been to the church. That's probably for a good reason. Where is that weirdo? My. 4 visitors at once? On a Thursday? This is unprecedented. Wait, 4? Pastor Daniel, are you counting yourself? But there are only 3 of us. Oh no, were we followed by a ditchling? Zane! Sup, old people? Oh, it's just Zane. What are you doing here? All the glimpses of death I've had in the past 2 days have forced me into the midst of an existential crisis, my dudes. I wanted to see if Faith held any answers for me. Alas, I have not yet found the solace I seek. Give it time, Zane. It sometimes takes a while for the Lord to work his way into your heart. But when he does, you won't regret letting him in. Be sure to look over those pamphlets I gave you. And of course, I'm always here if you need to talk. Sure thing, Pastor D. Peace, y'all. Zane out. Anyway, we're looking for Stella. She wandered off last night and no one has seen her since. We're starting to get pretty worried. We hoped maybe you or Janie had seen her. I can't speak for Janie, but I'm afraid I've seen neither hide nor hair of Stella. If you'd like to talk to my wife, she's just over by the alpacas. Though, Retcon, I was hoping we might be able to talk in private. Yes, of course. Sure. Let us do that. I guess we'll leave you to it while we check in with Janie. See you in a minute. Your friends head off towards Janie and the alpacas, leaving you alone with the nervous pastor. I'm so glad you came. I've never met anyone else who could hear them. You have no idea how long I thought I must have had some kind of insanity. I even thought at one point that it must have been the Lord himself talking to me through them. But they never had anything very insightful to say, so I was disavowed of that pretty early on. You remember that time that I called you asking for help with a ghost hunt and you declined, and then we went anyway, and I ended up cursed and old? Oh, right, you missed that last part, but yeah, that's what happened. Oh, and here I thought you were putting on some sort of early Halloween costume. Is this about the spirit you mentioned in the library? I'm sorry I wasn't more open-minded, and I'm sorry that I dropped your call. You've clearly been through quite the ordeal. It's fine, dude. I'm pretty sure you couldn't have done anything anyway. Besides, we've got plenty of other mysteries to focus on, like, why can we talk to animals? Have you met Frou-Frou, Gretchen, Pixel? Of course I have. But I learned early on in life not to let on that I have this gift, at least while other humans are around, so I haven't spoken with any of them. Though I get the feeling Frou-Frou wouldn't talk to me even if she knew I could understand her. No, she'll talk. She just... Yeah. I've tried to befriend the alpacas when no one else is around, emphasis on tried. They're surprisingly cliquey. Besides that, I tried to maintain a low profile, only chatting with the wildlife when I'm sure no one is looking. How are either of us sure that we're really talking to animals? Now that I know there's at least two of us, I have no doubt. There have definitely been times in my life when I thought I might just be insane. But it's so consistent, and I've never exhibited any other signs of insanity. In my most doubting moments, I have considered the possibility that other entities may be using the animals to confuse my faith. But besides a particularly vicious hamster I had growing up, the most an animal has ever tried to convince me to do is give them more food. So I somehow doubt they're puppets for some otherworldly evil, unless that otherworldly evil wants me to overfeed my pets. So, what, do you think this is another curse? A birthright? Why us? I don't think it's a curse. It can be annoying at times, but so can talking to people. Yeah, try working customer service. Not that I feel that way very often, of course. As a servant of God, I am always ready and willing to talk with my fellow man about anything they need to discuss. Spiritually, I've always rationalized it as God's sign that I should spread his word to even the beasts of his world. I've had mixed results. Seems the alpacas prefer Catholicism, which they know about somehow, and birds tend to be incredibly heretical. Good to know. Physically, I wish I had answers. I wish I could approach a scientist about this without becoming a research experiment. But I preferred to keep it quiet at my doctor's visits. I can't risk being locked away or altered in some permanent way. Not when I have a family to take care of. Right. Yeah, I suppose that is a concern. We're friends now. Man, I'm just glad that I finally found someone else who can do it too. I always just kind of took it for granted, but there's something nice about knowing I'm not the only one. Likewise, though it may be more than just the two of us now. I have my suspicions that Tulip may have inherited the gift. There have been some particularly nasty rats in the church lately, and she's said some things that have led me to believe that she might be able to understand them. He's interrupted by the sound of a snapping twig and a high-pitched giggle, partly muffled by the underbrush on the edge of the property. Tulip, come out of there. You know you're not supposed to play in the woods. Tulip glances back into the woods, quiet as she hesitates. Tulip, are you going to be good? Or are we going to skip story time tonight? I'll be good. You don't have to skip story time. I won't go into the woods, I promise. I know you won't, Tulip, because you know it's dangerous for little girls in there. Why don't you go help Mama with the alpacas? It's just about time they got fed. You can give them hay. Tulip smiles broadly, seemingly excited by the prospect, and hurries off. Sorry I had to have a firm parenting moment just then. She's been trying to run off into those woods a lot lately, and it's really dangerous, even for adults. There's this massive trash dump not too far past the trees, but it must be at least 50 years old, so it's all grown over and looks like it's part of the landscape. But if you accidentally walk on it, you might find yourself falling into a hip-deep mound of rusty cans and broken glass. Oh, yeah, right, yeah, Stella told me about that. Tetanus Lake. Tetanus Lake? That's an accurate name. I wonder if Tulip would stay away if I started calling it that. Or if it would only make it sound more alluring. Yeah, that. The second one. So, how much garbage are we talking about exactly? Is it something we could clear out with a week of hard work? Maybe if you had construction equipment and a team of professionals. It's a big area, and I have no idea how deep it goes. In the meantime, I'm just making sure Tulip knows not to go near it. Hey, what was that you said about church rats? You said Tulip was talking to them? Ah, yes, the rats. So, you and I are used to the sort of chatter we hear from wildlife. It's usually nothing that needs to be paid attention to. But these rats, there's something so sinister about them. And they must be huge, judging by the sound of them scurrying around in there. Tulip had never shown evidence of the ability before. She's never responded to the alpacas or engaged in conversations with birds. In retrospect, she could have just been hiding it, the way I did growing up. Because I know she's been talking to the rats. She calls them her friends, has been drawing all these pictures of them. Really ghastly things. I've tried to bring it up with her, but she just gets this little smile and doesn't say a word, like it's her fun little secret. It's all innocent enough in the grand scheme of things, but I'm pretty sure they also live out in that trash heap. And ever since she started talking about her friends, she's been trying to sneak out there. I'm concerned she's going to get hurt or catch some kind of disease. Right. That sounds like... What was that thing called? The cattywampus? The thing that killed a farmer's dog after he shot off its tail. Tailipo. I mean, obviously, the things we read about in those books haven't exactly been one-to-one matches, but it does give us somewhere to start. Large rat-like creatures that live in Tetanus Lake. Daniel, what have these rats been saying, exactly? Oh, they like to try to goad me into crying or becoming depressed. They watch me through unseen holes and make fun of me, and try to figure out how to press my buttons. It's annoying, but easy enough to block out, especially when I'm praying. I don't think they're a good influence on Tulip, though. She's gotten quiet and secretive ever since she started talking to them. I'd hate to think what they say to her when I'm not around to hear. Yeah, that's not good. Have you actually seen them? No, but I don't need to. I lived in a dorm that had rats once. You never see them, but the church has all the signs of an infestation, and there's no mistaking the sounds of little creatures stampeding through the walls. I've left out some humane rat traps, but they're too small for them. All it's done is waste peanut butter. And I caught a possum in one, poor thing. Possums are never very bright. Hold your tongue. But at least he got a nice big scoop of peanut butter out of the ordeal. You live for now. Has Janie heard them? She's not in the church very often. She's usually in town doing her jobs until late, and we spend our evenings in the house. It's just me and Tulip all day long. Janie knows Tulip has made some strange little friends, but thinks it's an imagination game. I was hoping I'd sort out the rat issue before she could get suspicious, but they're persistent, so I may have to hire an exterminator, if I can get the money for one. I hope it doesn't have to come to that. Daniel, are you 1,000,000% sure they're actually rats? I think so. The pastor shifts uncomfortably for a moment. I hope so. Yeah, this is probably not great. Look, is there... Shoot, there's a few things here I'd like to say, but... Is there anything I can do to help? Maybe I could talk to them? That would be lovely. I'd certainly appreciate a helping hand here. I don't want to be too much of a bother, and you should probably finish looking for your missing friend first. But I'll be around. Out of the corner of your eye, you see Kanika and Avery walking back to the two of you. They must have finished talking to Janie. Janie says she hasn't seen Stella either, so we'd better get going. Thanks for suggesting we head up here, Retcon. We got to feed the alpacas. They were so cute and soft. It was awesome. And Janie says she'll come by the diner with cookies for the miners. And a few extra for me, of course. She's so nice. She even offered to bring me some since I'm feeling under the weather. Hope your talk with the pastor went well? Yes, we had a great conversation. I appreciate y'all stopping by, even if it wasn't under the best circumstances. I'll let y'all be on your way. And I do hope Stella turns up soon. I'll put in some good prayers with the big man for her. Alright, thanks. See ya. Kanika and Avery start back down the path to town, and you follow. Interesting. So yeah, as expected, nothing about Stella, but we did find out a bit about our gift. Sounds like it passes down through bloodlines. Could be a Scarlet thing, but it could also come from our father's side. Tabby hasn't shown any signs. And then we also found out about the Tailipos, or Skitter Rats, or whatever they are, which I'm sure will end up being the focus of one of the future chapters. So, what was that about? He seemed pretty insistent on talking to you alone. Yeah, he didn't say anything weird, did he? These two already know I can talk to animals. It's not like I've kept that secret. Maybe knowing that about Daniel would help them tolerate him better as well. As hard as it is to believe, it turns out he can also talk to animals. We were just discussing it. What it might mean. I can't believe that of all the people in the world you could have shared that ability with, you wound up stuck with Pastor Daniel. Let's not get too distracted until we find Stella, though. Where to next? As you consider your next move, your vision blurs again. But this time, it persists. The weakness in your knees returns, your ears fill with static, and you can feel yourself swaying, unable to control your body. It seems the toll of the pact you made last night is finally catching up with you. Whoa, you don't look too good. Your body crumples to the ground. Oh shit, the general store is just around the corner. Let's get you inside. The bells of the general store jingle welcomingly as your companions drag you across the threshold. You can faintly make out the unintelligible mumbling of what must be voices. And then you fade out once again. You come to in a chair in the tea room. Sybil sits across from you, a gentle smile of relief washing over her face as you regain consciousness. It's dark here, the sunlight filtering through the heavy curtains, weak and watery, partially supplemented by the bright grow lights over the plant in the corner. Welcome back. It's just the two of us now, I'm afraid. Avery had to go help out at the diner, and Kanika is getting some much-needed bed rest upstairs. I went ahead and made you some tea, dear. It should help a bit with your condition. Your eyes drift down to the cup of freshly brewed tea in front of you. It smells light and citrusy, with undertones of decaying earth. It's the same tea you sampled with Avery at the diner on Tuesday. Don't expect it to change your gray hairs back, but at the very least it should make it easier for your mind and spirit to adjust to some of the physical changes you've gone through. Hopefully you'll be a little less exhausted and a little less prone to passing out. That would be nice. Thank you. And when you're finished, we can use the leaves for a reading. On the house, of course. Until then, why don't we just chat? Down the hatch. You take the tea, sipping it delicately. The citrus smell is fleeting, quickly replaced with the earthiness at its core, like you've taken a mouthful of dirt. But the aftertaste combines the two flavors into something soothing and medicinal, and you find yourself feeling more comfortable, your muscles relaxing for the first time in days. That is, better. Thanks. So, how'd you end up in Scarlet Hollow? Oh, my family's been in these hills for a long time. That's how I know so much of the local flora. Everything I've learned was handed down from generations of hill folk. There hasn't always been a reliable doctor up here, especially not one most folks could afford. They have to figure out their own medicine. So your family goes way back in Scarlet Hollow. Good to know. You know, I seem to recall you saying something about unsavory tales of my mother's youth. Yes, I most certainly did say that, though I might have been exaggerating a bit for dramatic effect. I'm prone to doing that. In a town this size, you get to know everybody, no matter what the age difference might be. Vivian was a little younger than me. which meant I always had a certain older sister instinct about her. Her family wasn't good to her. Her Lan was a lot like your great-grandmother, Edwardine, which is to say she was not a very kind woman. Similar to Tabitha, but with more social grace, and considerably more hatred for her fellow man. But your mother wasn't a shrinking violet either. She was just as stubborn as any other Scarlet, so her family choosing her as their punching bag made her into quite the rebel. Wait, why were my mom and her sister raised by their grandmother? What happened to their mother? Their entry into this world was violent, I'm afraid. Their mother was young, too young to be pregnant, especially with twins. Oof. She didn't survive the labor. Wow, so what do we know about my grandmother? I'm afraid there isn't much I can tell you. I think there were two in that generation. The eldest died when the girls were still children. Edwardine never spoke about them, nor did your mother. You know, in retrospect, I feel like I've heard all sorts of things about the women in my family, but what about the men? Were we just a series of immaculate conceptions? I suppose they just haven't been very noteworthy since Edwardine took over the mines. Her husband died a long time ago, and to be quite honest, I can't even recall his name. Might have been Stuart, or something just as forgettable. From what Vivian said, your father was some teenaged fling that ended once your grandmother found out she was pregnant. Like Wayne. I'm fairly certain it was similar for Vivian, though she was much older. And I believe she was the one who ended it, what with skipping town and all. What exactly happened when my mom found out she was pregnant? She came to me for advice. She was distraught. It was like she'd been handed a death sentence. Maybe it was fear from what had happened to her own mother. Maybe it was something else. Yeah, I'm gonna put my money on something else. There is definitely some heavy pruning on the Scarlet family tree. But she seemed convinced she was in danger. Tabitha had already been born by then, of course, but she was born in wedlock, so I assumed your mother's worries had something to do with religion. Though the Scarlets weren't particularly religious, as far as I knew. But the way Vivian was that night when she came to me, it stuck in my mind. It's always had me wondering what it was about your family that made her panic so much at the thought of having a baby. Definitely some sort of generational curse or debt, perhaps. Look, what's with all the mystery and ritual? If you've got something to say, just come out and say it. I'll need your tea leaves first. I have pieces of the puzzle, but the tea leaves should help to give me the full picture. Right. Well, you close your eyes and take another sip, and then another. It's delightful. The tea is gone before you know it. The small cup empty, save for what's left of rehydrated leaves coating the bottom. Sybil wasn't lying when she said it would help your condition. You still feel aged and worn, but you're a little less tired and a little mentally sharper than you were a few minutes ago. It's good tea. I wonder if that's the same tea that she was giving Tabitha. They went out of their way to remind us about that scene during the recap at the beginning of Chapter 4. Though I mean, the fact that Avery also shared some with us does seem to imply that it's nothing sinister. Could just be a local medicinal brew, I suppose. But they did go out of their way to remind us about it. Twice, in fact. Maybe I'm just overthinking it. Oh, good. Glad you found the tea palatable enough to drink. It should do you some good. It's one of my more medicinal blends. Now, on to business. Sybil takes the cup from you, staring thoughtfully down at the sludge. Oh dear, this doesn't bode well. You've got just about every warning that can fit in the bottom of a cup. Cross, kettle, hourglass. All of these mean death, misery, difficulty, and the hourglass ties it all together with definite urgency. It's fair to assume that this all has to do with whatever brought the ditchlings. Something is coming, and whether any of us can stop it, I'm not sure. But we may, at the very least, be able to figure out what it is. And there's a central figure here, a cat, an enemy, lurking in plain sight. Interesting. Which implies someone we know. I mean, I'm assuming not a literal cat, but who knows. And I don't think it would be anyone obvious. Not Dr. Kelly, not Wayne. They're too blatant. I don't think either of them really have it out for us either. And of course, I don't think it's the literal cats of Scarlet Hollow either. I think it would be someone we consider a friend. Though, I hate to imagine one of our friends betraying us. Though we have only known these people for a few days. Reese, maybe? We know there's something going on with him. He's got the weird skin and the medical condition. The macabre art. Though, Sybil, if she is part of the ancient lineage of witches of Scarlet Hollow, that would make her a prime suspect. That's ridiculous. Sybil is helping you. And if she was the cat, why would she warn you about herself? Pick someone else. Okay, narrator. I guess I'll do that then. Gosh, what was I thinking? I've got to say, that did not at all make me less suspicious of her. If anything, it just made me more. But you know what? Fine. The narrator can have it his way. We will choose someone else. Yeah, I guess we'll go with Reese. I mean, we already know that this is a Reese-centric chapter. So, why not set up our own self-fulfilling prophecy? The cat could be Reese. The way... He's got claws and he sleeps all day. Wait, am I a cat? His mother, she keeps trying to push people away from him. She acts like she's scared of him. Maybe she knows something. That's just Joan being overprotective. With all his health issues, I understand why she tries to keep people away. As much as my heart hurts for the poor boy. In any case, I somehow doubt he's down there plotting some kind of grand betrayal against someone he met just this week, using up what little energy he has. Okay, but I haven't known any of these people for more than a week. If I were you, I wouldn't cast your suspicions too widely. You wouldn't want to become paranoid that every new person you meet is a possible enemy. But you should trust your own judgment here. Friend or family, the cat will make itself known soon enough. You don't have to figure out an answer right away. It often takes time for the mind to connect the dots. Just be on your guard, and keep vigilant that someone close to you isn't to be trusted. We know from the ditchlings that something terrible is coming our way. and it's likely that it's connected to some hidden enemy. Perhaps we can try to counteract whatever might be planned for you. Judging by what you told me last night, those stones, carvings, seals, whatever you want to call them, I think it's likely they have something to do with this. Honestly, this is starting to sound like some sort of multi-generational blood magic. A blood debt, perhaps, owed to some ancient supernatural creature. The mysterious guest in our Forbidden Wing, perhaps. Until the cat reveals itself, it seems like your best course of action is to seek these carvings out, piece together what you can from your visions, and arm yourself with information. Have you sensed any others around town? Do you think you might be able to find another? Your thoughts drift to that door yesterday, the one that seemed to draw you in, urging you deeper into the clinic. Yeah, you could say I've sensed something. Even just remembering it is enough to tug at you, compelling you to return, and open it to see what's on the other side. You can find Stella later. Maybe you can even find her there. You alright, narrator? You seem a bit off since this conversation started. What's important now is finally seeing what's hidden in that clinic. I don't know about this, Sybil. Things get weird and dangerous when I get near those seals. How do we know this isn't exactly what the cat wants me to do? Maybe it wants me to visit these seals. What happens around those stones might not be anywhere close to what could happen if we let the danger encroaching on both you and this town act unopposed. The ditchlings are multiplying every day. This is all going to come to a head, and it may just be a question of how prepared you are when it comes. Learning whatever you can could save your life, even if you're faced with more ghosts or ghouls along the way. I think that's all the help I can offer. I hope this conversation has been illuminating, even if it just brought up more questions than giving any clear answers. You know, if you're so eager to help, why don't you come with me? You were a lot of help against that ghost last night. Maybe you can help with what comes next. I may have been able to see through the spirit's illusions, but I'm not some kind of all-powerful entity. I'm an old woman, I have trouble with my knees, and my eyesight isn't what it used to be. In most situations, I'd be more of a liability than a helpful companion. Imagine if I'd been in those mines with you. Some use I'd be, struggling to climb over rocks and ladders, throwing my back out from all the crouching. Right, yeah, that's fair, I guess. Okay, thanks. I'll let you know if I find anything. Glad to hear it. I hope all goes well, and I wish you luck. Hopefully, you won't need it. Yeah. Thank you again for humoring an old lady and stopping by for a chat. With a small grunt of effort, Sybil gets up from the table, and you're escorted back to the door. And remember, be careful who you put your trust in. According to your tea, the cat is getting ready to pounce. And merely being ready for it might not be enough. Sybil closes the door to the tea room, the bells of its doors strangely flat in the stale air of the nearly empty general store. Hey, Miles, what's up, buddy? Man, I gotta say, I'm coming out of that a lot more suspicious of Sybil than I was before. But that might be intentional. They might be trying to steer me in the wrong direction. The narrator was acting really weird, though. That was not normal. Have there been any other instances where the narrator's done something like that? I mean, keep in mind, I'm playing these chapters months apart from each other, but I don't recall it ever happening before. That said, we are past time, so I feel like this is a good place to call it. Hopefully we can round up some assistance, because it sounds like we're headed to Reese's place next. And it is genuinely hard to tell what direction that might end up going in. Reese could be a monster, or he could be stalked by a monster, or his mother could just be the villain they keep trying to allude she might be. But I guess we'll find out. Though I will say, the fact that they have an ever-expanding series of content warnings with each new update does not bode well. I think we might just have to brace ourselves for the worst here. See you then. Oh, and remember, although I do love playing Scarlet Hollow, you can find out more about the game by visiting the official websites. And if you'd like to help support the channel, then feel free to push the buttons that do the things, or maybe even check out the Patreon, the YouTube memberships, or the Nexus GG page. Links are in the description.